Anger is perhaps the most destructive emotion we can experience. It clouds our judgment, damages our relationships, and leaves us feeling empty and ashamed. Yet every single day we encounter situations designed to provoke us. Someone cuts us off in traffic. A colleague takes credit for our work. A stranger on the internet says something inflammatory. These are rage baits, traps laid by life itself, and most of us walk right into them without a second thought. But what if there was a way to become completely immune to anger? What if you could navigate through the most provocative situations with complete calm and clarity? This is not about suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is fine. This is about understanding anger so deeply that it loses its power over you entirely. The ancient Stoics discovered this secret thousands of years ago. They lived in a world just as chaotic and frustrating as ours, yet they developed a framework for emotional resilience that remains unmatched to this day. Their insights can transform how you respond to provocation, but only if you truly understand them. The first thing you need to understand is what anger actually is. We think anger happens to us, that it's caused by external events beyond our control. Someone insults you and you get angry. Someone betrays you and rage fills your chest. It feels automatic, like a reflex you cannot prevent. But this is an illusion. Anger is not something that happens to you. Anger is something you do. It's a choice you make, even if that choice happens so quickly you don't notice it. Between the moment something happens and the moment you feel angry, there is a gap. In that gap, your mind interprets the event and assigns it meaning. This interpretation, not the event itself, is what creates your anger. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus said it perfectly. We are not disturbed by things, but by our views of things. Think about it. Two people experience the exact same insult. One becomes furious while the other laughs it off. The external event was identical. The difference lies entirely in their interpretation. One person decided the insult mattered, that it threatened their dignity, that it demanded a response. The other person decided it was meaningless, perhaps even amusing. Same event, completely different emotional outcomes. This is the key to everything. Once you realize that your interpretation creates your anger, you gain the power to change that interpretation. You are not a victim of your emotions. You are their architect. But recognizing this is only the first step. The real work lies in understanding why we choose anger in the first place. We get angry because we believe the world should be different than it is. We have expectations about how people should behave, how situations should unfold, how life should treat us. When reality violates these expectations, we become angry. The driver should not have cut you off. Your colleague should not have stolen your credit. The internet stranger should not have said that offensive thing. These shoulds and should nots are the fuel that feeds your anger. Every time you think someone should have acted differently, you are setting yourself up for rage. But here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody wants to hear. The universe does not care about your expectations. Reality unfolds according to its own laws, not according to your preferences about how things ought to be. People will act according to their nature, their circumstances, their level of understanding. They will disappoint you, they will betray you, they will provoke you. This is not a defect in the universe. This is simply how the universe works. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. He wrote that when you wake up in the morning, you should tell yourself that today you will encounter people who are rude, ungrateful, and selfish. Not because the world is terrible, but because these types of people exist and you will inevitably cross paths with them. This is not pessimism, this is realism, and this realism is the foundation of emotional resilience. If you expect people to sometimes be awful, you will not be surprised when they are. And if you are not surprised, you will not be angry. Anger requires an element of shock, a violation of expectations. Remove the shock and the anger loses its grip. But let's go deeper. Why do we hold these expectations in the first place? Often it's because we believe that other people's behavior reflects on us somehow. Someone insults you, and you get angry because you think their insult diminishes your worth. Someone disrespects you, and you rage because you think their disrespect means you are not valuable. But this is a fundamental misunderstanding of how value works. Your worth as a person has nothing to do with what anyone else thinks or says or does. Your worth comes from your character, from your choices, from your commitment to virtue. No insult can touch that. No betrayal can diminish it. The only thing that can reduce your worth is your own decision to abandon your principles. When Marcus Aurelius was emperor of Rome, he was the most powerful man in the world. He could have executed anyone who disrespected him, yet he chose not to. Not because he was weak, but because he understood that other people's opinions were completely irrelevant to his actual worth. He knew that reacting with anger would diminish him far more than any insult ever could. This is the paradox of anger. We get angry to defend our dignity, but anger is what actually destroys our dignity. When you rage at someone, you are giving them power over you. You are allowing their words or actions to control your emotional state. You are proving that you can be manipulated, that you can be baited. True strength is remaining calm in the face of provocation. True dignity is maintaining your composure when everyone around you is losing theirs. The person who can be made angry is weak. The person who cannot be made angry is invincible. So how do you actually achieve this state of invincibility? It starts with radical acceptance of reality. Not resignation, not defeat, but acceptance. Acceptance means seeing things exactly as they are without wishing they were different. Someone cuts you off in traffic. That is reality. You can rage about it, which changes nothing and ruins your day. Or you can accept it. They cut you off. That happened. Now it's over. Move forward with your day completely unaffected. This might sound like you're just letting people get away with bad behavior, but think about what getting angry actually accomplishes in most situations. Does your anger change the past? No. What happened already happened. Does your anger improve the future? Rarely, if ever. Does your anger make you feel better? Only for a brief moment, and then it leaves you feeling worse than before. Anger is an expensive emotion. It costs you your peace, your energy, your time, your relationships, and sometimes even your health. And what do you get in return? Nothing of value. Nothing that actually improves your life. It's the worst trade you could possibly make. The ancient Stoics would say that getting angry is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. It's completely irrational. Yet we do it constantly because we haven't trained ourselves to recognize the pattern. This is where practice comes in. Becoming immune to anger is not something that happens overnight. It's a skill that must be developed through conscious, deliberate practice. Start small. The next time someone does something mildly annoying, pause before you react. In that pause, ask yourself a few questions. Will this matter in 5 years? Will this matter in 5 months? Will this matter in 5 days? If the answer is no, then it definitely doesn't matter enough to sacrifice your peace over it. Let it go immediately. But what about situations that do matter? What about genuine injustices, real betrayals, serious offenses? Even then, anger is not the answer. Anger clouds your judgment and makes you act impulsively. If something truly requires a response, you need to respond with clarity and strategy, not rage. A calm mind is a powerful mind. A calm mind can assess situations accurately and respond effectively. An angry mind just lashes out and often makes things worse. Think of anger as a fire alarm. The alarm tells you there might be danger, but you wouldn't just stand there listening to the alarm. You would investigate calmly to see if there's actually a fire, and then take appropriate action. Anger is the same way. It's information that something might need your attention, but the anger itself is not useful. What's useful is the calm, rational assessment that follows. Another crucial insight from the Stoics is understanding that people are doing the best they can with what they have. This doesn't excuse bad behavior. It just explains it. The person who cut you off might be rushing to the hospital. The colleague who betrayed you might be desperate to save their job. The internet troll might be deeply unhappy and lashing out at the world. You don't know their full story. You don't know what circumstances shaped them. When you understand that people act according to their nature and circumstances, not according to your preferences, anger becomes impossible. You might still disapprove of their actions. You might still need to protect yourself or set boundaries, but you can do all of that without anger, with calm resolve instead. Seneca, another Stoic philosopher, wrote extensively about anger. He called it temporary madness. He said that no plague has cost humanity more. He observed that we are quick to anger over small things, but slow to appreciate the good things we have. This is worth reflecting on. How much time do you spend angry about minor inconveniences compared to grateful for major blessings? If you spent half the energy on gratitude that you spend on anger, your entire life would transform. This brings us to one of the most powerful techniques for eliminating anger: perspective. When something makes you angry, zoom out. Look at the situation from a distance. Imagine you're watching it happen to someone else. How significant does it really seem? The ancient Stoics practiced an exercise called the view from above. They would imagine themselves rising up, higher and higher, until the entire earth was visible. From that height, their problems seemed microscopic. The insult that enraged them was just tiny sounds made by a tiny person on a tiny planet. This cosmic perspective doesn't make your feelings invalid, it just helps you see them in proper proportion. Most things we get angry about are truly insignificant in the grand scheme. We're just too close to them to realize it. Creating distance, either through imagination or time, reveals the truth. Here's another powerful realization. The person who angers you most is often yourself. We are far harder on ourselves than anyone else could ever be. We replay our mistakes endlessly. We criticize ourselves brutally. We hold ourselves to impossible standards and then rage when we fail to meet them. This self-directed anger is perhaps the most destructive kind because it's constant. You can avoid other people, but you cannot avoid yourself. The solution is the same, though: radical acceptance. Accept that you are human. Accept that you will make mistakes. Accept that you are learning and growing. Treat yourself with the same compassion you would show a good friend. When you mess up, acknowledge it, learn from it, and move forward. Self-anger changes nothing about the past and only makes the future harder. Let it go. Focus your energy on becoming better, not on punishing yourself for not being perfect. Now let's talk about rage baiting specifically. Rage baiting is the deliberate attempt to provoke anger in others. It's everywhere in modern life. Social media is designed to rage bait you. News media thrives on rage baiting. Even casual conversations often contain subtle rage baits. The key to never being rage baited is understanding the game that's being played. When someone tries to make you angry, they are trying to control you. They are trying to steal your peace, your time, your energy. They are trying to live rent-free in your head. The moment you get angry, they win. They got exactly what they wanted. But if you remain calm, if you refuse to take the bait, you win. You keep your peace. You keep your power. You prove that you cannot be manipulated. This is tremendously liberating. Imagine being completely immune to manipulation. Imagine scrolling through social media and seeing inflammatory content but feeling nothing except perhaps mild amusement at the obvious attempt. Imagine someone insulting you to your face and responding with genuine curiosity about why they feel the need to attack you. This is not weakness. This is the highest form of strength. This is complete mastery over your own mind. The Stoics believed that the only true freedom was freedom from our own destructive emotions. Everything else could be taken from you. Your money, your status, even your life, but your inner tranquility, your peace of mind, that could only be surrendered, never taken. When you refuse to be angered, you are claiming that freedom. You are declaring that nothing external can disturb your inner peace. This doesn't mean you become emotionless or cold. You can still feel passion, joy, love, sadness. These emotions enrich life. Anger is different. Anger is uniquely destructive. It serves almost no useful purpose in modern life. We're not fighting for survival anymore. We don't need rage to defend ourselves from predators. In almost every situation where anger arises, it makes things worse, not better. So we can choose to let it go. We can choose to respond differently. We can choose peace. Here's a practical framework you can use starting today. When you feel anger rising, stop and breathe. Take 3 deep breaths. This simple act creates space between stimulus and response. In that space, ask yourself, is this worth my peace? 9 times out of 10, the answer will be no. Then consciously choose to let it go. Physically relax your muscles. Unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, let the anger flow out of your body like water. It might feel strange at first. You might feel like you're supposed to be angry, like anger is the appropriate response. But remember, you're breaking a habit. You're rewiring years or even decades of conditioned responses. It takes practice, but every time you choose calm over anger, you're strengthening that new pathway. Eventually, remaining calm becomes automatic. The provocations that once sent you into a rage will bounce off you like rain off a roof. You'll look back at your old self and wonder how you ever let such trivial things disturb you. This is not just theory. This is tested wisdom that has worked for thousands of years. The Stoics weren't philosophers sitting in ivory towers. They were emperors, soldiers, statesmen dealing with real pressures and real provocations. And they found that this approach worked. Marcus Aurelius led armies and governed an empire while maintaining remarkable equanimity. Epictetus was once a slave, subjected to terrible treatment, yet he remained unbroken. Seneca navigated the treacherous politics of Rome without losing his composure. If these men could maintain inner peace under such extreme circumstances, you can certainly maintain it in your daily life. The path forward is clear. Stop believing that anger is something that happens to you. Recognize it as a choice you make. Stop expecting the world to conform to your preferences. Accept reality as it is. Stop giving other people power over your emotional state. Claim that power back for yourself. Stop reacting automatically to provocations. Pause, breathe, and choose your response consciously. Start practicing these principles today with small annoyances. Build your strength gradually. Start viewing challenges as opportunities to practice remaining calm. Welcome them as training. Start being as compassionate with yourself as you are learning to be with others. You are not trying to become perfect. You are trying to become free. Free from the tyranny of anger. Free from being manipulated by rage baits. Free to respond to life with wisdom and grace instead of reactivity and rage.